This story, the South Africa BRICS think tank will host a webinar tomorrow focusing on key priorities and opportunities arising from the upcoming India's presidency of BRICS this year. That's 2021. The dialogue will provide an opportunity for Indian experts and diplomats to present their priorities for the year to South African policy makers, while offering some insight into upcoming discussions at the 13th BRICS Academic Forum. Well, to talk more about this, I'm joined by Professor Siphamandla Zondi, the chairperson of the South African BRICS think tank. Prof, good morning and thank you very much for your time. Well, it is a time of transition, but it's happening at a very difficult moment in the world in terms of the pandemic, and India now is going to be playing, so to speak, a leading role. What should we be expecting to come out of India's presidency in this time in the world of BRICS?
Good morning and good morning to the listeners. Yes, indeed, it is happening in very tough times, a combination of a terrible second wave of COVID-19 affecting all BRICS countries right now, perhaps China less so, and then an economic crisis that is accompanied by that, and the fact that all of these is compounding a crisis that pre-exists those that were shown forth by the global financial crisis of 2008. So it is a huge challenge. We are in the eye of the storm. Russia worked well last year to put on the table some very concrete proposals related to long-term economic partnership strategy among the BRICS countries, strengthening ways in which they could cooperate. We expect India to place again on the table the idea of inclusive development, inclusive economic development, as the BRICS build back better as per UN mandate for all efforts at economic recovery after COVID-19. And I think that would include pushing a little stronger for trade, for investment, for manufacturing capacity, industrial cooperation, for greater integration of technologies, in order to enable the BRICS countries to build back a little faster than they would if they were not cooperating with each other to recover. Fortunately, one member of the BRICS is doing quite strong economically. Hope they would be able to assist others, that is China. And to some extent, Russia is also doing well. So I hope they would find ways to cooperate in the best interest of not just the 5 countries, but also the 5 regions that they represent.
Yeah, the 5 regions that they represent. South Africa excited and optimistic about the newly launched Africa Continental Free Trade Area. We had the President Ramaphosa yesterday addressing the World Economic Forum, expressing his hope about how that's going to help, but it's going to come down to execution or implementation. But the BRICS itself as a bloc has had some financial challenges. I mean, it's not easy to get hold of capital. I mean, with the BRICS Development Bank, for example, we know there were some issues. I understand Brazil, the other day, the parliament in Brazil did not vote to support. So there's no money that's available for countries like Brazil. South Africa as well is highly indebted at the moment. Yes,
indeed, the BRICS can be divided into 2. South Africa, India, and Brazil have a much worse situation than China and Russia, partly because of the pre-existing conditions. And as you know, COVID-19 has really simply revealed the pre-existing condition. Just as we say the most vulnerable people are those with comorbidities, similarly, the most affected countries are those with comorbidities of poverty, of inequality, of long-standing underdevelopment. And
So, Prof, what opportunities will, Prof, sorry to cut in terms of time, we don't have much. What opportunities will an Indian presidency of BRICS then present in trying to address some of these key challenges? Very briefly.
Better implementation of existing decisions already in relation to inclusive economic development, better implementation of development finance initiatives that they already have, firming up all the decisions that are taking place in the past 3 years, and that will help put BRICS on a footing towards recovery.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Siphamandla Zondi there, the chairperson of the South African BRICS think tank, just giving us some of his thinking and insights ahead of the webinar that they will be holding tomorrow, and in terms of India's presidency of BRICS in 2021. Lots of challenges indeed.